Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're going to say goodbye to the Battlefield Hardline beta by looking at the top 10 things I think need to change. I think the general consensus is that the Hardline beta was successful, especially compared to the BF4 beta, but it wasn't perfect and it's up to us to tell them why. Honestly, I didn't have too many issues with the beta, but this list is just 10 of the things I'd really like to see changed in the final release to make this a truly great game. By no means is this a complete list of problems, and some of the things on this list have already begun to be addressed, but in any case I hope all of these changes make the final game. But anyway, to kick off, number 10, most of the pickup weapons were pretty balanced, but the one thing I noticed about the Stinger is that it was a one-hit kill on helicopters, and that meant you could clear the sky with the 2 missiles it spawned with. The Stinger realistically only needs 1 missile, considering pretty much every other weapon on the battlefield can hurt helicopters. Either that or the helis need some kind of countermeasure to soak up at least one of those rounds. Number 9. One thing I noticed about throwing a med bag or the ammo box on PS4 is that it cancelled out my reload, which is something it doesn't do in BF4. This happens on PC in BF4, so I'm kind of used to it on that platform, but honestly, I just like to see this removed completely because it's almost as annoying as sprinting cancelling reloads in COD. Number 8, the list of things in Hardline that can kill you in one shot is in my opinion way too long, and I think shotguns were really the most painful example of this in the beta. I understand that shotguns should have a one-hit kill ability, but it should only be at point-blank range, and you should need to hit them in the center of the head or chest. Anything other than this just turns these guns into noob cannons. Number 7, I really didn't play with the sniper rifles all that much, but from what I'm hearing, the Magnum rounds for these guns could take out vehicles unrealistically quickly. I mean, sure, I can understand Magnum rounds doing more damage to hard targets, but I think the general consensus is that these rounds need a nerf, and to be honest, I'm inclined to agree. Number 6, clearly the weapon stats in the beta weren't the final stats, but one of the categories that needs to be addressed the most is the semi-automatic sniper rifles. All of these guns seemed like clones of each other, and I think they really could benefit from some variation, especially when it comes to rate of fire, recoil, and accuracy. Number 5, speaking of stats, the assault rifles were the highlight of the Hardline beta for most people, not only because they were easier to control in this game, they did more damage than they do in BF4. As far as I know, a patch was released on PC addressing this to some extent, so I really do hope this change makes the final game, because I don't understand why ARs do more damage than carbines. Number 4, frag grenades in Hardline are frankly way too powerful, and not all that realistic considering police forces wouldn't actually use something so destructive in the real world. I think the focus should be on non-lethal grenades, so I'd like to see a big nerf to the blast radius of frags, and I'd like to see players given more than just one smoke grenade like they are in BF4. Number 3, speaking of explosives, aren't laser trip mines annoying? I mean, sure, they're more visible than claymores, but they're a guaranteed one-hit kill, and the professional gets 2 of them. I really don't like any weapon that requires no skill to use, and mines take the cake, so I think they should either have their max damage reduced, or they should despawn when the player dies like they did in BF3. Number 2, one of the most annoying things I experienced in the beta, especially on Dust Bowl, was spawning in only to realise I was out in the open and almost immediately being shot at by enemies. Spawn points should be near cover to give you a fighting chance, because nothing sucks more than spawning in and getting insta-killed before you can even realise where you are. And finally, number 1, there were a lot of really great weapons in the Hardline beta, but it's safe to say that the RO933, the HCAR and the HK51 were not on that list because of generally average or inferior stats. These aren't the only weapons that need to be looked at, but they were the ones I enjoyed the least, and I hope along with all of the other guns they get a good balance before the game finally launches. All in all, I really enjoyed the Hardline beta, and I'm pretty optimistic about the final game because it seems like Visceral are doing their best to take our comments on board. Like I said, they've already begun to patch the game and address some of the issues I mentioned on this list, but there's still a long way to go yet before it'll be completely perfect. For those of you who aren't convinced about Hardline yet, that's fine, I can understand where you guys are coming from. This is, after all, a completely different game. I really honestly think it's worth giving a chance though, because apart from these issues and a few others I've missed, the beta was pretty damn good in my opinion. But anyway guys, that just about wraps up this list, so let me know what you thought of the Battlefield Hardline beta in the comment section below, and let me know what you'd change in the final release. As always, if you like what you see, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below. But until next time, see you later, and have a good one.